In a quiet lab nestled between mountains, Dr. Elira was about to uncover a secret that would change everything. She had spent years studying DNA and RNA, fascinated by how these tiny molecules held the key to life. "Today's the day," she whispered, watching the sequence light up on her screen. But something was different. This wasn't just any genetic code. It was a message hidden deep within the strands of RNA, waiting to be unlocked. Dr. Elira packed her things and decided to take a journey to where the sequence pointed, an ancient cave in Peru. The air was thick with mystery as she arrived at Machu Picchu, where the first clue was hidden. She trekked up the stone paths, breathing in the history that surrounded her. The code spoke of a key in the mountains, something that only the brave could find. Ilara's heart raced, not with fear, but with excitement. As a scientist, she'd always believed in data, but now she was on an adventure that felt more like legend. She met a local guide, Cairo, who shared stories of ancient guardians who protected the secrets of life. "These guardians," Cairo said, "are not mere myths, they encoded in nature itself." Elira knew the answers she sought weren't just in her lab anymore, they were in the world around her. As they hiked deeper into the mountains, strange symbols began to appear, etched into the rocks. They matched the patterns Elira had seen in her research. "DNA is the language of life," she thought, "but it's also a map." Finally, they arrived at a hidden cave, the entrance concealed by overgrown vines. Inside, the walls shimmered with ancient drawing symbols of the double helix intertwined with the stories of gods and nature. Elira felt a shiver down her spine. She was standing in the birthplace of life's greatest secret. "This is it," she whispered, "the origin of the code." At the center of the cave, a stone pedestal held an artifact, a glowing crystal inscribed with RNA sequences. "This is what we've been missing," she said, awestruck. The crystal pulsed, as if alive, resonating with the very essence of the earth. "What does it do?" Cairo asked, equally mesmerized. "I think it's the key to rewriting life," Elira said. As a scientist, she'd studied manipulation of genes, but this was beyond anything imaginable. They took the crystal back to her lab, eager to uncover its potential. Days passed, and Elira couldn't stop thinking about the crystal's power. "If we can understand this, we could cure every disease, prevent aging, change the course of human evolution." But the question weighed heavy on her. Just because they could, did it mean they should? In her lab, the crystal hummed softly, as if inviting her to unlock its code. "RNA is the messenger," she thought, "but this is something more." She spent hours sequencing the data, uncovering new layers of genetic possibilities. The crystal wasn't just a key to understanding life, it was a blueprint for improving it. "Imagine a world without disease," she mused. The deeper she dove, the more the potential overwhelmed her. Ilara's discovery started to attract attention from other scientists and corporations. They all wanted the power she had unlocked. But Elira knew the dangers of such knowledge falling into the wrong hands. She received calls, emails, and even threats. Everyone wanted control of the crystal. "We need to protect this," she told Cairo, who had stayed by her side. "But how?" Cairo asked. Elira thought long and hard, realizing that the only way to protect it was to hide it once more. They decided to return the crystal to the mountains, where nature could guard it once again. Before leaving, Elira made one final discovery. The crystal's sequence wasn't just about life. It held the key to communication with the earth itself. "This is how the ancient civilizations lived in harmony," she said in awe. They understood the DNA of the world around them. Together, they journeyed back to the cave, the crystal safely hidden away. But Elira knew the world would not stop searching for the secrets she had uncovered. "We must be careful," she told Cairo. The power of life's code is too great to be misused. As they placed the crystal back on its pedestal, the cave glowed with life. It belongs here, Elira said, her heart full of peace. They left the cave, knowing they had done the right thing. But the discovery haunted Elira. What else could they have unlocked? Back in her lab, she continued her research, but with a newfound respect for the delicate balance of life. The world had changed, but Elira's mission remained the same: understand life, but protect it. She published her findings, though she left out the part about the crystal. The scientific community hailed her as a genius. There's more to discover, she said in interviews, but some things must remain hidden. As the world moved on, Elira continued her work in secret, always mindful of the knowledge she had gained. DNA and RNA are just the beginning, she thought, but what's next must be treated with caution. The crystal stayed hidden in the cave, its light dim but never fully extinguished. Cairo returned to his village, where he shared stories of their adventure. There are things out there beyond our understanding, he told the children. But only Elira knew the full truth of what they had found. The earth, with its ancient codes, still held many secrets. And as Elira looked up at the stars one night, she wondered, what if we're all just part of the code? The universe itself could be a giant sequence, waiting to be understood. Life is a journey, she thought, and the code is our guide. She smiled, content with the knowledge that the journey of discovery would never truly end. Elira's story became legend, a tale told by scientists and tourists alike. People came from all over to visit the cave, hoping to catch a glimpse of the hidden crystal. But no one ever found it. The world, like the code, moved in cycles, forever changing, forever evolving. Elira kept her work going, always mindful of the balance between discovery and responsibility. We are the keepers of life's code, she reminded herself every day. And with that, she continued her work, hopeful for the future, yet cautious of what it might bring. The mountains remained silent, guarding their secret as they had done for centuries. But one day, Elira received a letter with a sequence she had never seen before. The journey continues, she whispered, as she prepared for her next adventure. The message was clear: there was more to discover, more to unlock. Elira packed her bags, her heart racing with excitement. As she left her lab, she knew this was only the beginning. The story of DNA, RNA, and life itself was far from over. She boarded a plane, her eyes gleaming with hope. The code will guide me, she thought, looking at the stars once more. And with that, she disappeared into the night, chasing the secrets of life across the world. Her journey would inspire generations to come, a legacy written in the very DNA of humanity. The end was never really the end, just a new chapter waiting to be discovered. Elira's name would be remembered for centuries, a pioneer of life's greatest mysteries. The world continued to evolve, guided by the unseen hand of the code. And somewhere, deep in the mountains of Peru, the crystal continued to pulse, waiting for the next one worthy to find it. For the code of life was eternal, forever hidden, forever guiding those who dared to seek it. Elira's story was one of adventure, discovery, and the unbreakable bond between science and nature. And as long as the code existed, the story would never truly end. It was written in the stars, the mountains, and the very fabric of existence. The journey was just beginning. Maya stood frozen, staring at the screen as the new sequence blinked to life. This wasn't supposed to happen, she muttered, her pulse quickening. The sequence on her computer seemed alive, like it was waiting for her. As she reached out, her fingers hovered over the keys, unsure of what to do next. Could this be another message from Elira, Maya wondered. She hadn't anticipated that the code would evolve after the shard was destroyed. Without thinking, Maya began to decrypt the new data. The symbols on the screen rearranged themselves, forming something shocking. This isn't just a genetic code, it's a map, Maya realized. The map led to multiple locations around the globe, each site marked with an unknown symbol. This can't be a coincidence, she thought, her hands shaking with excitement. The first site was in Antarctica, far beyond the reach of normal explorers. Maya hesitated but knew she had to investigate. She immediately contacted a team of researchers and set up an expedition. I need to see this through, she thought, boarding the flight to the icy wilderness. Upon arrival, the team braved harsh winds and dangerous terrain to reach the coordinates. As they neared the location, Maya felt the familiar energy again, a quiet hum in the air. The snow-covered ground suddenly shifted, revealing a hidden structure beneath. It's been buried for centuries, Maya whispered, astonished. The entrance opened with a hiss, revealing a tunnel carved into the ice. Maya and her team ventured inside, the cold air biting at their faces. Inside, they found balls etched with the same symbols she had seen in Ilara's cave. But these were more intricate, telling a story in their strange, ancient language. This is more advanced than anything we've ever discovered, one of the researchers said. At the tunnel's end, a door stood, pulsing with a faint blue light. Maya's breath caught in her throat as she approached it. This door, it's waiting for something, she said, running her hand along the surface. Without warning, the symbols on the door began to glow. It's reacting to my touch, Maya realized, heart pounding. The door slid open, revealing a massive underground chamber. In the center stood a massive pillar, covered in swirling energy. It's some kind of technology, far beyond anything we know, Maya thought. Her team stood in awe, unsure of what to do next. As Maya approached the pillar, she felt a surge of energy pass through her. The code, it's alive, she whispered, realizing that it was communicating with her. Suddenly, the pillar projected images into the air, visions of a future shaped by the code. Maya saw cities flourishing, diseases eradicated, and humanity living in harmony with nature. But then, the images shifted, showing destruction, chaos, and genetic manipulation gone wrong. This is what Ilara was afraid of, Maya realized. The pillar was a warning, showing the consequences of tampering with the code irresponsibly. Maya backed away, shaken by the visions of a future she didn't want to see. We have to leave this place, she said, turning to her team. But as they prepared to exit, the pillar paused again, this time projecting another sequence. It's giving us a choice, Maya thought, decoding the symbols rapidly. The code offered humanity two paths, one of enlightenment, the other of destruction. Maya knew she had to make a decision, one that could shape the future of the entire world. If we share this knowledge, we risk everything, she said aloud. But her team disagreed, eager to unveil the secrets of the code to the world. This could be the breakthrough we've been waiting for, one of them insisted. Maya's heart raced. She knew what revealing this would mean. As the team debated, the ground beneath them trembled. The structure's unstable, Maya warned, but no one listened. Suddenly, the pillar flashed, and the chamber began to collapse. We need to get out of here now, Maya shouted, grabbing her equipment. They raced out of the tunnel, snow falling in heavy sheets around them. Just as they reached the surface, the ground caved in, swallowing the chamber below. The team stared in shock as the ancient site disappeared, lost to the ice once more. It's gone, one of them said, disbelief in his voice. But Maya knew better. She had seen enough to know that the code was still out there. This is far from over, she thought, her mind racing with the possibilities. Back at her lab, Maya began piecing together the new sequences she had gathered. The Antarctic site was just one of many. There were more hidden across the globe. Each one held a piece of the puzzle, waiting to be uncovered. Maya realized that this was bigger than she ever imagined. The code wasn't just a tool for evolution, it was a guide, a blueprint for the future of humanity. But we're not ready for it, Maya said to herself, staring at the data. The world wasn't prepared to handle such power responsibly. And yet, she couldn't ignore the potential for good that the code held. I need to protect this knowledge until the world is ready, she decided. Maya encrypted the data once more, hiding it in places only she could access. But she knew others would come looking, driven by greed and the promise of power. I'll have to stay one step ahead, she thought, determined to keep the code safe. Days turned into weeks, and Maya found herself constantly on edge. Reports of mysterious disappearances and unusual phenomena started to surface. Someone else has found a piece of the code, she realized, panic gripping her. It was no longer a question of if, but when the world would discover the full extent of the code's power. Maya knew she couldn't do this alone. She reached out to a small, trusted group of scientists, one she knew would understand the gravity of the situation. Together, they formed a secret alliance dedicated to protecting the code. We'll guard it with our lives if we have to, one of them vowed. Maya smiled, feeling a surge of hope. Perhaps they could protect the world from itself. But deep down, she knew that the battle was just beginning. The code will find a way to surface, she thought. It always does. As time passed, the hidden sequences remained locked away, but Maya's vigilance never wavered. She traveled the world, visiting the other locations marked on the map. Each site held its own mysteries, each one more dangerous than the last. But Maya's resolve only grew stronger. She knew that the future of humanity depended on keeping the code hidden until the time was right. The final site was the most remote, deep in the Himalayan mountains. As she stood on the peak, Maya looked out over the vast expanse of the earth below. "We're not ready for this," she whispered, "but one day we will be." And with that, Maya encrypted the final sequence, burying it deep within the earth. The code will sleep until the world is ready, she thought, her mission complete. Maya's story, like Ilara's, became legend whispered among scientists and explorers alike. But no one knew the full truth, and the secrets of the code remained hidden. The time will come, Maya thought, watching the sunset, when the world will be ready. Until then, she would guard the legacy of the code, its mysteries known only to her. And one day, the code would awaken again, leading humanity toward its next great adventure. But for now, it remained silent, waiting for the moment when the world was ready to embrace its power. The future was written in the code, and Maya was its protector until the end.